Okay. Oh, thank you for doing that.
No, she was good.
I appreciate you.
Yes, those days.
Keep an eye on her.
Well, it's kind of weird not having her next door because I usually hear her
Oh, yeah.
outside on the back, down a well during the day. It's nice to know.
Her son's a captain. Had 3 kids. They're all overachievers. I don't know. They were she and her husband were teachers, school teachers. She raised some really. One's a lawyer. The other one down in Potsdam. She's working for all. She's a big home builder, and acquisition person at KPUB.
Yeah, that's what she was saying.
Come early. Hey, you are.
Must have made all the lights this morning. How are you, sir?
I had breakfast at the El Rancho this morning. 7.
7.
Well, it's a good time. Good thing.
Hey, Phil,
Good
just
to
gives,
get good breakfast in you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's slowed down.
I don't know how oatmeal I had.
You know, I haven't been to that group in
I haven't either,
a long time.
but I kind of doubt that slowed it down. They're probably just doing business as usual.
I had a,
Talking about the group that goes to the Hill Country Cafe every morning.
Oh, yeah.
Has COVID slowed them down any?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Smysel's still down there every morning. Myers, I mean, they're,
Same group.
Same group, yeah. So they're eating
had a
that.
former banker down there that I try to avoid sometimes. He and Larry hang out a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's funny? You know where I see, you know where Meyer eats lunch almost every day?
Not Mamacitas.
He eats at that Mexican place right next to the Hill Country Cafe.
Oh, over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that
See him
lady.
every time I've
He
been
just
there.
wants to stay right there in downtown.
Well, he used to own that building. And,
Yeah.
for a man that's a part owner of a big Mexican food chain, the fact that he eats over Mexican food,
Yeah.
that place.
I sat with him at Greengrocer Deli the other day.
Aji comes through and
We
gets
got to talk
tacos
about
from
trying
me.
back going to.
These tacos from you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
my girl, he's had a tip
April
her since I
19th,
can't take a tip. So
1999.
next time he comes through,
Yeah,
he has a $20 gift card.
he had a picture. He brought it to me later.
Yeah, y'all got the best
Of a
tacos. in town.
U-Haul truck driving.
I'm like, I just want a picture of you in that Rolls Royce sitting in my house.
Crispy tacos are pretty good. Had 2 for lunch and just crunch them up. You get a taco light, then you get all the sour cream.
I like his little coupon comic section.
I went and ran that again. That was a good deal.
Yeah, I usually stop by and grab that on my way.
That little comic section, that little puzzle deal, I get a lot of whatever I run in there back in. People look at
That's what
that.
everybody says. Everybody reads that one.
Yeah, you can run one in the middle of the newspaper and not get crap back. Ran a free taco one time. No purchase. I got like 6 cents.
Tells you something.
Tells you. That's what I told the newspaper girl.
Not on the top of my
shit.
head. I think we're going to sit here for a while.
How they come back with that one?
They know, they didn't.
This is a resolution I drafted last. Okay.
You want water?
I got one, so thank you.
You guys, okay.
Oh, no, thanks.
Good, thanks.
Thank you.
That resolution I drafted, can you get us the number that we?
Send me a memo.
Okay.
Just as long as you have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Call to order the Kerrville Public Food Board meeting for February 17th, taking place on the 24th. I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm gonna just for the record, note that we have Robbie McCutcheon with staff, or it's all staff, but Robbie, Allison, and then Jill Sadberry joining us online, and some of them will be be in here as their topics come up.
All right, approval of the minutes from last month. Any questions? Comments?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second, all in favor? Unanimous. Citizens forum, Mike, do you have anybody?
No, sir, we checked for comments, dropped off, in-person email, well, not in person, but dropped off in the drive-through,
Sure.
email to Lydia. And then on the phone, we don't have any visitors or anyone on the phone other than staff. Robbie, can you just confirm that you can hear us?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I can hear you.
And you have the recording going?
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right, thank you.
Announcements of community interest.
Go ahead and advance the slide, Robbie. One more. I normally review these, but it's been a little hectic, so.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Been very busy. Our crews are working. We have 2 crews working for CTEC and basically 1.5 here at home. And we've jumped back and forth helping them since they're so close. I mean, we're able to, you know, during the event, once we got to a point we saw no outages, we would call CTEC and ask them, where do you need us? And did a lot of work initially just south of our service area over in Indian Creek and Saddlewood and areas like that. And now we're over in Mountain Home. So even in Mountain Home, if we had an emergency here, we could recall our crews and have them back on our system in an hour. Go ahead and advance the slides, Robbie. Staff spotlight is Nathaniel Crabtree. He's been 2 years on the job next month. He's an apprentice lineman now, and he's got a great attitude. That's one thing I'll say about Nate. Next one, Robbie. We're having another blood drive Thursday, March 25th. Doyle community, we had a weatherization we have a weatherization event coming up on the 27th. Allison and David Baxter met with the board over there to talk about things we could do to help them. And they were asking about solar, but we really said weatherization is what will help the residents in this area most. And what we're trying to do is get ACOG engaged and use their money because they have a lot more money than we do. And so I think ACOG can spend, it's either $5,000 or $8,000 on a home. It's quite a bit of money. And so, and we can even, you can even get those for rentals. It's a little trickier, but so that's really where we need to go there. And then we're doing the Light on the Hill mobile food pantry again on March 29th. Go ahead, Robbie. Yes, sir. That's all on community events. The next regular board meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, March 17th. I expect that we will probably have some other special called meetings, at least one, if not 2 others in the meantime.
All right, moving on to number 6, Sewerage Action Resolution 2102, Jill.
Yeah, pages 8 and 9 summarize the electronic payments since we've last met. Nothing unusual to point out this time. Just our normal power cost payments and payroll related items and sales tax.
And gentlemen, I'm sorry, before approving the resolutions of the board policies, just to let you know, I have updated the dates on those for today. So.
Any questions? Second, all in favor? All right, now number 7, financial report.
Page 12, our kilowatt sales were a bit below budget for the month of January. Our costs reasonably close, a little bit below budget. Our operating expenses below budget. We didn't quite hit budget, but at $146,000, we're still in the black for January. Year to date, I had intended to do some analysis on the commercial revenue side, and it got pushed aside, but I'll get to that. I want to compare year to date this year to last year to see what's going on the commercial side. Purchase power a bit over budget, but all of our operating expenses are below budget, so we're in the black this year. So far at $700,000, a little bit reasonably. Balance sheet over in the bottom right corner, we are over collected at the end of January, $1.6 million. On our investment summary, started the month with 18.6, spent $2.5 million, invested back $2.4 million, ended down a little bit to $8 million. Debt service coverage, quite good as always. January was a boring month compared to what you're going to hear next month.
You like boring?
And boring is good.
Questions?
And I just know we've got a couple people who have joined the meeting. I didn't look at that when we were had the open comments for citizens. Maybe we should go back there and see if anyone has comments for us. Would that be okay, Steve?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
can we do that?
Yes.
So Robbie, can you unmute our callers and see if anyone wants to make public comments from citizens or customers?
He has to read the.
Sure, yeah. Perhaps, did you have any comments?
Name, address.
Yeah, that, okay.
Why don't we read the citizen forum thing? Well, let's find out if they have any comments first. If they do, then read the citizen.
Okay, go ahead and unmute both of the callers and let's see if they have any comments for us, Robbie.
Okay.
So,
Okay, both callers should be muted. Did you have any comments?
and then I saw the Kristen Capps. It looked like the microphone there was talking, but I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. My question is, did the board need to buy energy through the ERCOT marketplace during the storm? And if so, what was the cost for that?
Okay. You want to do the deal right quick, just so we need to be in compliance, right? So if you can hold on 1 second. Member of the public may address the board. Prior to speaking, each speaker must sign in, say their name, address, and topic to address. The board may not discuss or take any action on items not on the agenda, but may place issues in the future agenda. Number of speakers will be limited to the first 10, and each will have 4 minutes. So if you can just give us your name and your address and stuff, and I'll be happy to answer your question.
Okay, my name is Kristen Capps. I'm a reporter for Bloomberg News. My address is in Washington, D.C. That doesn't really help you. My question is, did the board purchase energy through the ERCOT marketplace during the storm? And if so, what was the cost for that?
We have, it'd probably be best if you called me later. I can be reached at 830-739-7834. We have several contracts in place, so, and we're still reviewing the estimates from the event. It's a significant impact for our utility, but at the same time, we expect that our customers will still see competitive rates. And for us, that's less than 10 cents a kilowatt hour.
Mr. Capps, this is Steve Schulte. I'm the general counsel. You've called in during a board meeting, and this is the community forum. And under our guidelines, you can make comments, but this is not a good time. We're not allowed to answer questions during this portion of the board meeting. So I would suggest that later on this afternoon, if you can contact Mr. Whitmer at the number that he gave you, he can talk to you about the questions.
I appreciate that. I called because I called yesterday and was told to attend the board meeting. So I didn't realize it wasn't a place for questions. I'm happy to call and take time that way.
Yeah, thank you for your interest.
Thank you. And then we have another caller. Sir or ma'am, did y'all have any comments that you wanted to make? And that could be staff on there too. Do we have a member of staff calling in on the phone? Jerry, perhaps?
Yes, Mike, I am in attendance.
Okay, and you're on, oh, no, you're on your computer. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Oh, we would have one other caller. Okay, go ahead and I guess the last question I have is for the other caller. If you want to comment on a specific agenda item when that comes up, we really need to hear from you now so we know when we need to unmute you. Want to try our best to allow public participation, but there's someone there and I don't know who you are or what you want. So go ahead and mute everyone, Robbie, and we'll move on.
Okay, they're muted.
Okay. So, number 7. Do we have any questions? Any questions on the financial report? Go to agenda item number 8. Investment policies, resolution 21-3.
We send this out every year to get the bond council to look at it to make sure it maintains in compliance with rules and regulations. They have one comment, one suggestion on page 26 on the debt reserve fund to consider reversing the 1-year maximum maturity and the 6-month maximum plan to match the INS fund flow. I'm declining at this time to do that. We don't actually have any money in the debt reserve fund right now. And also, I think if we did, it would need to be liquid as our first pass through here. So I'm not opting to make that change. It's open for discussion. Everything else, all the other red line comments are grammatical or number corrections.
I'm good leaving it the way you want.
Yeah.
How much we have to charge?
Yeah.
They actually don't charge us for normally.
You need to vote.
Yes, we do.
I move to approve resolution 21-03.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Steve, get your trivia teams ready.
Company does, but I'm not gonna be participating in some of the people. I'll do that.
Morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mike, you we'll move on to the other ones. We get to 9:30. When is the executive?
Yeah, I'm
Skipping that.
Yeah, let's, John Davidson is scheduled to call us at 9:30, so I was gonna have us jump around on the agenda, and so we'll.
So we're going to number 11. Now let's go in closed session.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sessions. All right. Issues, KPUB charging stations. Okay, Richard, sorry for this.
Okay, how you doing, everyone? Good morning.
Good morning.
As requested by the board, attached for the review is a summary report of each of the KPUB charging station uses by month and year. In addition, KPUB made a total net revenue of $1,490.96 from the EV charging fees that started on October 1st, 2019. From the electrical vehicle public charging flat rate program, KPUB has four EV users that join on a flat rate of $30 for 6 months. We have two at Peterson Hospital.
Right.
And then we have one at Kerrville Garage, the cancer center.
On the flat rate on the 30th,
Yes.
at the slow
Yes, sir.
chargers.
And then another gentleman, yeah. So we are getting it used. If you go to the page 45, you can see, starting at Peterson Hospital, which was installed maybe last year, if I remember correctly. The total, we already have 263 sessions that people are using the charging station for that time frame of.
Clarification, there's two there, the Peterson, no, there's one at the Peterson Hospital.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no, I'm sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's a dual charging stations. It's two, you can charge two vehicles.
Two vehicles, but there's one charge. Okay.
Okay, and from starting was that 2020, from May to December, we have a total of 199 sessions that people are using. That's how many times they use that charging station, which is nice. I mean, we're getting usage out of it, so I like that. And then 2021, there were 64 sessions there from January to February. You can see in January of 2021, we had 44 usage already. And in February, we got 20.
The total usage year, the monthly usage, what does that mean?
Well, I meant to say sessions.
Okay.
Sessions.
Monthly
How many,
sessions.
how many
vehicles?
times someone used that charging station?
Okay, and then of those 199 at that location, do we know how many of those are on a monthly contract? Or 6-month contract, or how many are out of town?
Yes.
users charging?
From that location, from Peterson Hospital, I have two doctors that use that charging station. I have, I'm not sure, can I reveal their names?
No, I don't even that. Okay,
Just want to make sure.
Do those two monthly subscribers account for how
Yes.
much of that 199? All of it?
No, actually, one of the doctors joined just, matter of fact, yesterday, got him going. And then another doctor was on it for, I think he renewed it the third time. This is his third time renewing that $30 per 6 months, so.
So we can come up with a new report and split out,
If you want.
so monthly subscription sessions versus, pay, individual pay sessions. And we can pull those numbers. We
Yeah,
can
that's
pull,
easy.
if we get a ID, we get a user ID, we don't necessarily know who they are. And I mean, the ones that sign up with us, yeah, we obviously know, but we can see when people are repeat customers versus, out of town or something like that. And we looked at it, I looked at it in detail, but that was years ago. And we had a lot of the same people using it. But we also had vehicles from, we had one from Florida, we had one from Washington State. The majority of them though majority of the sessions, and again, this was years ago, were from people in our area. There were also some from, it's where you'd expect, Houston, San Antonio, Austin. So.
Yeah, I would like to see a little more
Okay, and
detail. I know it's a busy time. It doesn't get the next board meeting. Looking forward to this, we talked about putting in some more stations, if we need more stations or whatever. If we're putting a station for someone to pay $30 a month for a 6-month membership, using 80% of our time or 90% of our time, are we accomplishing what we're trying to do? Because evidently they got a charging station at home.
So we set the rates up, kind of matching what other utilities were doing in our area, but a big part of this is to make public stations available to encourage EV adoption. So, because in the long run, we'll see growth in sales, but the paybacks on these stations are going to be very long. So it's an investment to help support the growth of EVs. And if we don't want to do that, that's fine, but.
I'm not saying that I don't care.
Maybe we'll
I'm asking for the information.
Yeah.
I need the information.
Yeah.
It's like a baseball field. If you build it, they'll come.
Right.
That's interesting.
Right.
Yeah. No, this is good information. I just would like to dig a little deeper into this to find out.
You go out to the visitor center.
yes, right. Go to the visiting, which is the fast charging center there, which is nice because then the most they'll stay is 30 minutes to an hour. Because that's that 277 480 voltage. So they charge up really fast. And we have that right next to I-10, the highway I-10. Why? Because just in case someone, like Mike was saying, coming from California, needs to find these locations to charge up their vehicle. It's right there. It's convenient too. The restaurants are there. They could go in there and get something.
And I think it's on the cars now. They do it through the cars.
The apps.
So you can hit your app and it can tell you where closest.
So like in February, well, let's just go back to January. There was less than one person a day using it out there. Well, a lot less than one person. There's only 13 people. And assuming those are different people, they could have been somebody from Fredericksburg who wanted to come in and charge and then go home. I'm just reading crack. They go eat the biscuits.
Go eat some biscuits and charge up.
And the Kerrville Hub, China University, it's new.
Yes. And that hasn't been used that actually because it was closed. The university was closed. Right. And they had to get permission to come in and stuff like that. So the usage was, I think we only had one.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, this is a situation because of the COVID-19 stuff like that. Hopefully, once everyone moving forward, we get the vaccine and everything starts opening and we'll get more uses out of it. The most we got at the Kerrville downtown garage, obviously, because that's been there the first one. That was a trial and error process right there. We learned a lot from it and stuff like that. And we started. I think, like I mentioned before, we didn't start collecting any money on the charging station to October 1st, 2019, which I made a report on it. So if you want to see it, let me know. We did the comparison with Austin Energy, CPS to get the rates on.
Larry was, I think you were the one that was concerned about like down there, somebody parking their car there and leaving and all that. Yeah.
And that's right. And I have that charge fee. See, okay, so I'll start off with my report again. You get on your app phone, right? You get a notification that, hey, your vehicle's charged.
Right.
I'll give you a grace period of 1 hour to detach that, remove your vehicle from that parking station. And if you don't, and you're still attached, I'm gonna charge you $5 per hour. Now, the only one that's different, is that the Kerrville Center, right, which is the fast charging station, and that I gave you 30 minutes. You let me know about that's fair or not, because I mean,
No,
this is what was approved. We got it.
I agree with it. I wouldn't even mind if it was 5 for the next hour and 10 for the one after that.
It goes up,
Go unplug it, you know.
yeah.
And technically, someone could just unplug it and leave
And leave the car.
But I haven't heard that that's a problem you know, and I would think, well, I don't know. We haven't heard that it's a problem.
Good.
Okay,
Let me throw in another scenario. So let's say that doctor is down in the garage and he works 20 days a month. Well, there's 44, so that's only two. If he's in there,
They won't
we got
charge,
only one or two people use that. That's kind of what I'm
well,
trying
they
to.
won't charge them every day, because you don't need to.
True.
I go down the developmental services quite often down that parking garage, and every time I drive by there, I see the same one or two cars parked in those spots, and they're driving. So somebody's using those a lot.
Only you charge them with parking.
Exactly. I mean, so
I only
it's.
know one person that has one of these electric cars, and I asked them, and they have two, and I said, how often do you have to charge it? You know, you have to plug it in every night? And they said, no, like every 4 days.
But if he parks it there every day.
And you just park in there to park there, yeah.
It's a very
Sticks it
close,
in.
it's a very close parking spot to the
So,
center
yeah, I
too.
know where it is, I've seen it there, so I know one of them.
Of our $1,490.96 in revenue, what does it cost to charge those? Do we know that?
it's, what was it, $2.40 per hour?
He's asking what KPUB's cost.
Oh.
What it costs us
what
to-
is it,
You
10
you
cents?
need to get you his memo when we
Right,
got
that's-
this approved. It's got that information.
Okay.
I think that took in the cost, Larry. I think was that the revenue, was that the profit, or was
Yeah,
that?
that's the profit we made. They, charge point takes a certain amount, which I think they already did.
That's total revenue. That is total.
That's
revenue.
not, that's not total.
Net, right.
That's gross.
That's gross revenue. That's
This
gross
is
revenue.
total net revenue, so
Revenue.
I think we need to revisit this now that we might know that we'd like to get a little more, I would like to get a little more detailed information on number of uses, number of customers, cost, revenues.
Okay.
And that can be next month or the month after. It's not a pressing issue. Is that?
I agree.
I agree.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how we measure this, but another issue is what is the growing popularity of electric cars? You know, so what's their market? I mean, this, an aside, we got Elon Musk's stock has gone down considerably. But if it's a long payout, we see down the road that we're gonna have enough demand for this to really make it worth it.
While they in Texas this last winter storm, they keep a few people from thinking about electric car.
We can run numbers and what we can do is we can run numbers that say, assuming 10% of our customers bought an electric vehicle, our revenue, we would expect to get approximately this in revenue, you know, or this growth. And that's probably what we need to get.
Or
is
would it cost $10,000 or $15,000?
the public's, how much are the public level 2 stations
There are,
installed?
installed. I took the average on it. What was it? 12,000. Let's say $50,000 to install.
Level 2.
To
How long would
purchase
it
the charging
take us to get
station. Yeah, the charging station costs about $9,000. Right to install.
And that's not the rapid, that's the
Level
regular.
Yeah,
three.
that is a level 2.
Level 3, you said was around 50?
Yeah, level 3. And what I'll do is, if you want, I'll send Lily the report again, so you can look it over. I broke it down how much
Right.
more it costs. So we can give it.
And how many times how many times would that be used before we'd ever get our return?
We're gonna have to see growth.
Yeah.
Big
But
growth.
Chevrolet has 2 or 3 new things coming out that they're kind of getting into the market. You might know more in a year. If they're actually gonna catch on.
Yeah, because the percentage of electric vehicles versus combustion right now is so, it's got a long way to go. I don't want to discount it. We need to keep our eye on it and watch it. But I don't think it's a.
Don't
threat
they need
that's
to run
coming
out
at
and buy
us.
10 of those?
No,
I don't think we've set up 6 more.
we don't need to buy any more for servicing the same customers
Yeah.
that have them at their house.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, something came up lately, at the Peterson Hospital, like you were saying, the doctors are using the charging station, so,
Let's get more details.
yes,
and
then
we
we'll
can
talk
come back.
about, yes.
Sure.
And we'll try to slice and dice the data and get, I mean, we can break it out by subscription versus people paying
Yes.
on the spot. And then we can give you a number of unique users, and we could give you, user number is such and such charged 20 times, and user number this charged 2 times.
Ricardo, isn't there one at the downtown that's not in the garage? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
We're planning to install 2 more right now in the
Okay.
process, like in Point Theater, Ingram. Because you're trying to divide them
Downtown.
But the only one downtown is is the one at the garage center, the parking garage downtown Kerrville, and at the visiting center.
That's not downtown.
Visiting center's not
Okay, I don't know.
There's only one that I'm aware of downtown. KPUB only has one. Someone else put one in. It's not-
James Avery has 2 at their deal.
Right, they're too private.
Yeah, and I think they have a level 2 and a level 3 out there. So they actually have installed the first level 3.
Main campus.
Yeah, at the main campus.
And in that report, you're talking about the unique users. You say you have people from Florida and Georgia, Hawaii.
We can give you breakdown by zip code.
You know where they're built to?
No,
It's
zip code.
ChargePoint gives us a unique driver ID and a zip code. We don't know the name, but they give us
That's
that.
where the car's from.
And ChargePoint manages those accounts and then sends us revenue from the charging.
Is that the software that runs the charge point?
Yeah, they basically manufacture the charging stations and they manage the network.
All right, thank you for the info.
Thank you very much.
Agenda number 12. Good morning, Allison.
How are y'all?
Good, yeah.
Good. For Team Security, I don't have too much of an update. We had 10 more customers opt out this past month, so it's still been very minimal. The Society of St. Vincent de Paul, they were closed during weather events. I know that they were closed on February 13th and the 17th. They did take some assistance applications on Saturday. They've almost gone through all the funds for the month. They're at a little over 11,000 right now. And you're typically taking those applications for customers on Wednesdays and Saturdays. But that's where we're at with it. They're doing a great job with us still. And too much else.
Quick question, the 829 families, are those unique families or some people have been helped multiple months?
I think there are some customers that have been helped multiple months, but the majority of it is unique families.
I'm not in that.
On the blood drive, you have to sign up for that?
Yes.
Who do you call to sign up?
There's a link to sign up on our website under the community tab, and then also on Facebook. It's all through the blood bank. They control the number of slots and appointment times. And sometimes we do run a little bit behind, just so y'all know, but
So,
Very good job last week.
well, thanks.
And that was tough. Thank you. You did an excellent job at that.
and I want to ask you about that experience last week, and what you're dealing with just a bit. We granted a total of $99,313.11 bill payment. That's significant.
Challenge.
It really is.
Yeah. Okay, kind of a general question, I guess this isn't a business per se, but I know you were answering a lot of questions and responding and writing. How did that go?
Oh. The first few days were the roughest, Monday and Tuesday, when people really just didn't understand and the outages were longer. And it, honestly, our customers have been great. Even there were, of course, people that were scared and probably were a little grumpy, rightfully so. And we've even had people that have called back and sent Facebook messages or emails and said, I'm sorry if I was little rude or, you know, I was scared and KPUB does a great job.
Yeah.
So-
Unusual event.
It was, yeah, an unusual event that we hope our community never experiences again, but I think that all the customers, once the media was doing a good job of explaining what was happening with ERCOT, and that it was happening everywhere and that the outage times were not normal rotations, that was the hardest answer for people, was the outage rotation times. But
That did get better though.
it got better, yeah.
One question on it, maybe for you or for Mike, I'm sure that I was not able to get a real person on the phone.
Yeah.
Is that something we're gonna look into, or?
If we're gonna really get into the event, that we've got that as item 15.
I'm sorry, I didn't get a new agenda. You said it to me, but I didn't get it when I walked in the door.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna,
That's fine.
we'll get there.
That's her.
Yeah, no, I'm
Allison,
happy to answer
she
that.
can hang up here and we can jump to 15 right now.
No, that's fine. But it's under her, under her purview.
Yeah.
15 is an executive, and am I?
No, 15 is operational. So I've got a memo.
Oh, okay. I don't have 15 either.
Well, while you're passing that out, let me say, I had a local attorney write me a long letter, a complaint against KPUB.
I saw that.
And I asked Allison for help. And man, what she produced was outstanding. You know how lawyers are. I don't know if it'll satisfy her, but it was excellent.
Well, as far as the charity for change, I think we need to continue.
Yeah.
For a few more months for sure, until we get this event behind us. We're start changing anything there.
Mayor, Bill, Mr. Mayor, do you know how long the emergency order is going to be in effect? Did y'all talk to discuss
We're
that?
for another week, but, and the county just adopted a disaster relief declaration yesterday. And I don't know what we did last Monday, the county did it yesterday, but it's the county's declaration that really counts in terms of disaster refunds, FEMA, and so forth. So, and still, we're not on the list of counties to receive. So there are a lot of folks working on that, but I hope by the end of this week, that'll be resolved.
I may have asked a question that had two responses.
Yeah.
There's the emergency declaration that we're basing the change for charity program off of.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you know how long that will go?
Oh,
'Cause that's
okay,
what
okay.
that's the
Yeah.
sunset on our change
We
for
have,
charity.
we have continued to renew that, and so the council has continued to say, let's stay with that, because aspects of that, of the reason we initially went into it are still with us.
Good.
So,
I just wonder if there's any talk or discussion on timeline.
Not at this point. I mean, we will, but it's not at this point. The other thing I was gonna say, I hope we're getting out of the COVID disaster, but we had 5 hospitalized last week. This week we got 12, so let's hope that doesn't keep going up.
Right. Thank you.
Item 15.
Move on to agenda item 15.
Okay, so I handed out a memo and, drafted this last night. It's rough and, we're, still been very busy. There's a timeline that Lydia put together, and this is mainly based on emails that I was sending out to staff. So it doesn't capture everything by all means, but it gives you a little picture of what the event was like. Operationally, the first 3 days of the week were more than we normally see in a year, I would say. This afternoon, we're starting recap meetings with staff so that we can document lessons learned and opportunities for improvement, capture a better timeline. And probably one of the biggest items that we might want to look into is the possibility of having KPUB open a 24/7 dispatch office so that we can control rolling outages in the future. The way it works, when ERCOT sees a need to start dropping load or shedding load is the term they use, which basically means turn it off. ERCOT issues a directive to the entire state and they'll say, we need 10,000 megawatts of load dropped under this emergency alert. And then the utilities know what their share is. In our case, LCRA manages for us and other utilities, their share is 6%. So 10,000, 6%, I guess that's 60 meg. Yeah, 60 megawatts. I thought at one point LCRA was dropping 250 megawatts, which is just that's twice the size of the entire Kerrville system at peak. But anyway, we had this happen in 2011, but the event wasn't nearly as painful. The rolling outages lasted maybe 6 hours, and then we had high prices for 2 days. Not 4.5, and high prices then was 3,000, not 9,000. And so after that event, when we looked at the cost of setting up a 24/7 dispatch center here, it just didn't seem worthwhile. We talked to Bandera, who has a 24/7, could we work with you on that? And we also talked to LCRA about, can we do this differently? Y'all start the event and then hand over our load to us, and that way we can make decisions locally. Things would run a lot smoother for one of these events if we were controlling it here locally. But the thing is, you're going to staff up and incur cost every year for events that don't come around very often.
When you say controlling it locally, turning on and off different.
Yes.
So who was turning on and off our panel?
LCRA. And
so there was no local control.
They manage our load. And so we would be managing it, but you have to have, how many guys work in one of these stations? 2, 3?
You would, I think to staff a 24-hour dispatch center, we'd have to add 3 full-time personnel. And then when you hit an event like this, you would probably shift to alternating 12-hour shifts and try to have 3 people in that dispatch office all the time.
So you need 6 people total to run one of these, right?
And interrupt. Can
Yes,
you
sir.
cross-train anybody?
We do have people cross-trained, but and we did, that's something that needs to be on the lessons learned type list, because there are, I think, opportunities for cross-training and dispatching customer service, but you also get stretched pretty thin because we needed everyone, and we needed, so 2 of the guys that are cross-trained in dispatch, one works in metering, one works in substation. Well, we needed the substation guy at times out in the field. We needed the metering guy to go check on outages. So
What about the people taking money in the office?
it's, I think
That's coming through that day.
I think there's,
Some ideas out there.
yeah, I think there's opportunity there, but we had customers who couldn't get through on the phone. And so
There was no way our team could have done that because we needed to be there for the phones. People
What's
were
the
having a hard enough time trying to get through a live person.
How did Bandera do during this crisis, having their own, or the BEC having their own dispatch compared?
I've heard much fewer. I haven't heard the kind of complaints and pain there. The thing about, and here's another thing, LCRA is managing a really big area, and to do it, they have to drop a whole substation transformer at a time. If we were doing it, we do a circuit at a time, which is about 1/3 to 1/4 of that transformer. So you're dropping less load. You'd be able to roll them more consistently. When the city was looking to set up an emergency shelter, they could say, hey, we really need the power kept on over here. And you could make those decisions. The dialysis center is offline, and we need that. You can manage those locally, and so there's some benefits.
what's the cost per, not the cost to set it up, the cost per year
Yeah.
to manage and run it, the continuous cost.
At least another 300,000 a year, you know, I
think it'd
think.
be closer to 5 or 6.
And, well, I think, and we,
Just from a people standpoint.
yeah, 300, let's just say that, 300 a year for our little utility, for a 1 in 10 year event.
But it's 24/7 every other week, so 3 guys can't do it because they're working 8
Well,
hours.
we already have a couple on, we already have 2, and we have others that.
I was kind of thinking we needed 6 guys.
Well, okay, so it's still,
Yeah.
So what are they gonna be doing?
So
when we're
what,
not
I'm
having
just
an
gonna
event?
say, we don't have an event, what are they doing? Sitting in a room just waiting on the power to go on, doing nothing?
that's what they're doing at Bandera, I guarantee it. Because,
That's what I'm saying. about-
well, and that's,
They're not helping with customer service, answering phone
there's no
calls.
call. A normal time, we get 1 outage a day. We go many days at a time with no outages, no calls. So, but if you're going to manage your own outage, if you're going to manage your own rolling outages, you have to have someone in dispatch ready to answer that call from ERCOT.
They have to be manually done. If this event happens, they have to be manually switched. I mean, it's not like a computer can do it.
No, because you have problems, you have to make changes on the fly, you have to, and we're probably getting too far into this. You know, staff needs to do a lot of work on this and then come back to the board with these. I think maybe at city council, there was even some suggestion of a citizens committee to kind of review the city and.
Yeah, so she included KPUB.
And KPUB. So, I mean, I envision us coming back to the community with a formal report. You know, here's the timeline of the event. Here are our lessons learned. Here are our recommendations. And here are the trade-offs, you know, here are the cost and the benefit we get out of it. So this is going to be a long
Can we look
process.
at like the last 10 years, how many times, because in the summer, we have peak loads, we have big loads, don't we have issues sometimes there too?
Yeah, so the summer events.
The stream we have.
Yeah, the summer events you recover from them more quickly because the system load drops off at nighttime and you have a chance to regroup for the next day. So you don't have these multi-day events. The problem is with the winter peaks, the heaters kick on and they just keep going. And so I would have never imagined a, 4.5 day event, but it's clearly possible.
Okay, Mike, I'm not for or against, but one thing, if we don't do the dispatch office here, we do have the advantage of saying we didn't do the outages. It's LCRA and ERCOT.
Yeah, I mean but to some, they are doing, ERCOT did their job as far as keeping the lights on. ERCOT did their job. If the load wasn't shed, the state would have gone dark. And so in that respect, ERCOT did their job with the rolling outages. There's going to be a lot of questions about power plant readiness and other things. But that, and then, LCRA, they did their job. It was a little frustrating on time. It's really frustrating when you don't know what's going on, don't know when it's going to come back on.
Yeah, if it's more consistent.
Well, that
much
was
more
my exact
palatable.
point. Is when the call center's down, I can't plan what to do at my house if I have no earthly idea when the tower's gonna come back on.
Yeah.
Same way you cannot communicate with LCRA, you don't have it. So that was my concern, so we could
Yeah,
figure
they
that
didn't
out.
have an
That's it.
idea when
And
it would come back on.
And so the call center question, that was earlier. Do you want to answer that, Allison?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was switched over to the call center. That's what you texted me on Monday.
So if we don't have enough customer service team available to answer the calls, we will go to that call center. On Tuesday, the peak amount of customers that were out was 76% of our service area. So you can imagine how many phone calls were coming through. There was no way that we had enough live people to be able to answer those phone calls. And we had some issues as well with a lot of our staff live out in rural areas, actually CTEC customers, some of them, and they were unable to drive in because of the weather conditions. And then they were losing, even the ones that were set up remotely, were losing power and internet. So we had less staff and an enormous amount of phone calls during that event. By Wednesday, I feel like if they were calling, they were able to get through to a live human at some point. But on Monday and Tuesday, the majority of people probably were not getting through to a live person very well.
So
We'll get to it as soon as possible.
did we start doing callbacks?
Do I?
Did we start doing callbacks on those people?
Yeah, no, we started manually tracking customers and even calling just to verify that their power came back on. And people, I think, were really surprised and grateful to hear from us. And that was a special touch from KPUB.
During our outage management system, really struggled with this because you'd lose so many customers and then they come back on, and then the outage management system is trying to talk to all the meters and verify that they're back on. And about the time they verify that, they drop again. And what made it got really difficult to find customers that had a blown fuse. And we actually had to rely on customer service, screening calls and literally bringing paper lists down here. We need to check this one. We need to check that one. We need to check these.
They found that online. I had one on the leg, and the guys came out, found that icy pole, changed it. It did not look fun.
The Pedernales actually shut, and the call center we're talking about, KPUB and a lot of the co-ops use the same software, the same call center. So we've got the same systems in the cloud, and we're all experiencing the same problem. So the volume, normally that call center can handle a tremendous number of calls, but because of the widespread nature of this event, the call center was overwhelmed. Do you know offhand how many calls they can handle?
I don't, but I know that this was a record for them.
It's a tremendous, I mean, at least 100,000 calls an hour. If not, it may be a bigger number than that. And then Pedernales actually shut down their outage management system during the event because it was bad information. Central Texas, yesterday at Commissioner's Court, their CEO said the outage management system is still not reliable for us. Now we got ours recovered much more quickly, but during the event, it did not help us. And so that's, and I don't know if you can, we're talking about such a big event. This will be the storm to design for decades to come. In terms of if you want to weather a Uri level storm, here are the things you're going to need to do. And I think the costs are going to, be prohibitive. So.
Is there any way to get our meters like, maybe ridiculous, but with a battery backup, so if they lose power, they can still communicate?
The technology is not, that technology, I'm not aware that technology is on the market.
Right.
The meters have a super capacitor in them, and it keeps the meter running for a minute or two, so it can send out, it's called a last gasp. I'm out of power, and that's how we hear from them. But I don't know that.
Right. Well, I mean,
that technology is
for a reason for it.
Yeah.
Last gas works because they power not going out.
Yeah, I would like, if you're working on that call center, the emergency dispatch or 24/7 or.
So
what does that cost? What does it do? How does it look in the scheme of long-term things? If it's a once in a 30-year event, do we want to spend $300,000 a year for 30 years?
Now, see, we had a conversation with Bandera after the 2011 event. We looked internally, and it doesn't make sense for us to set this up when we don't have anything for these people to do at night. Bandera has one, and we had some conversations with them about working together where we would basically contract with them to take our calls at night. And then if an event happened, then they call us in and they manage the first hour of the event. And we'll have that conversation with CTEC too. We've already had that, talk to them twice about that. And then we can reach out to Bandera and maybe, it might make sense that way if one can justify setting it up to cover for another. And, but you asked, so what do these people do at night? Well, the answer is nothing.
How big is Bandera compared to us?
I think they're twice our size.
Compared to CTEC.
CTEC's
Same size or bigger?
CTEC's got twice as many meters, or 44,000, 48,000. They've got a lot of smaller meters, so they're not twice our size in terms of revenue. And Bandera and CTEC are both about twice our size in terms of number of meters, but revenue, they've got a lot of wells and small meters and things like that. So revenue, they're probably more like 50% bigger or 60% bigger, something like that, or kilowatt hour sales. So we'll be coming, this is a big, this will be months. And this is also, for our kickoff meeting this afternoon, I'm bringing in Aaron Kitt because it's going to be a lot of work, and really to keep focused on it, we need someone helping with that, at least managing, getting the information, gathering the information and following up with everyone. What's the status on this? Did you get cost on that? What are our options for, so we're going to have her helping us a little bit so that we carry the project through to completion.
Thank you. Thanks for all your work.
Yes.
Thank you, Sophie.
So I think our attorneys are ready to join us so we can move into executive session. Yeah, why don't you hang around? You might just.
All right, close regular session, open executive session. February 24th. According to the Texas statute of Chapter D, Chapter 551, Government Code Section 551, recess to deliberate the following personal matters. A nominee for City of Kerrville, Board Trustee.
Mike,
Need a motion. Right. Let's move into executive.
Yes, we need to. Hang on, I gotta look at the agenda.
You have 1 and 2, executive 2.
Two items. Closed session, consultation with attorneys.
Maybe Steve, can you help us?
Need a motion to
Need a motion to move in.
We need a motion to move into executive session.
I'll make a motion to move into executive session under Texas statute subchapter D, chapter 551, the government code 551074. Discuss the following matters: nomination of city council and
Get number 2.
Number 2, 551071, consultation with attorneys pending litigation.
Got a second, all in favor? Executive session open.
And we need another motion that item 3 constitutes competitive matters. I know we're still on, but we'll get out.
Item 3.
We don't have that. That's what I'm saying. We don't have that on. You get that new agenda.
Oh, okay, so we need a motion to move into executive session in accordance with Texas statute subchapter D, chapter 551, government code section 551.086, to recess to discuss and take any necessary action on the following competitive matters. And that's bidding and pricing information for purchase power, general fuel and electric reliability council of Texas bids, prices, offers, and related services and strategies. Risk management information, contracts and strategies, including fuel hedging and storage.
I so move.
Second.
All in favor? Approved. Unanimous.
So we are now in executive session and we're going to leave the public meeting.
You turn off the cameras for executive session or not?
I'm going to turn everything off. Hey, Robbie, you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all yours, Bill.
So close executive session, reopen regular session for consideration on. Mike, you want to start on agenda 14? You want to go ahead and do that?
I think the first one we have to do is consideration and action. Number 10, consideration and action as a result of executive closed session.
Okay, so that would be resolution 2104.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2104 for the Public Utility Board establish temporary guidelines for policy administration of the rate stabilization fund and other rate stabilization activities, that the rates will not change.
Yes, so this resolution is essentially freezing our rates at 8.5 cents a kilowatt hour.
So move.
Second. All in favor? Unanimous. All right, and we've covered 11.
We have board appointments too.
Yeah.
And that's on item 10 as well.
Oh, okay. Nothing.
So we have a motion to approve the 3 applicants, to send them over to the city council for
I
their.
would so move to send these 3 applicants, Toby Appleton, T-Beck Gibson, and Bill Thomas, for reappointment to the city council for decision.
Yeah, for
consideration.
Bill,
Back,
and Toby.
Is that order?
Yep.
that's the second. Need to make a second? We make a second?
Nobody got it.
So we've got Larry Howard and Mark on the second.
All in favor? All right. You want to do the resolution 2104?
We did.
We did that, yeah.
2104 was done.
Yeah.
Agenda, okay. On the COVID, on agenda item number 13, all measures stay in place.
Yeah, we're still operating more or less under the same guidelines that we have been, so we're still doing the social distancing. And hoping to see more vaccinations here in Kirk County. That's really all we have there.
Agenda item number 14.
So
Staff update downtown beautification and lighting corrections project.
So there's I'm gonna change the order here. So we were looking at a downtown beautification project that was basically undergrounding facilities along Clay Street and then Water Street by the parking garage and the AC Shriner Mansion. In light of what we're dealing with now, I'm recommending that we just put that on hold until we have a better feel for that. What I had said before is that, I think KPUB is in a position to do these types of projects, but with the events of last week, I think we need to pause and wait on that one. There's also
I agree.
now there's also a related but technically separate project that was the cut sliding, and there we've gotten a request from basically the city to look at putting string lighting over Clay Street, down by the downtown parking garage, and then block up the street between Napa Auto and Pint and Plow. We estimate a typical installation cost of $24,540.78 for each location, and a monthly rate of $144.98 for each location. The rates have been developed using formulas previously provided by Utility Financial Solutions for KPUB installed streetlight poles. The rates recover depreciation over over a 20 and 30 years, and it depends on what it's like, what it is. The light's 20, the pole's 30. A 5% rate of return based on average net book value of the assets installed. And to that, we've added cost for maintenance of the street lighting fixtures. Each location will have 8 light strings crossing the road, and the rate is equivalent to the cost of 8 string lights. And I'll double check with city staff, but they have requested that KPUB proceed with the installations, and I don't imagine that that request will change. We'll have to change our plan a little bit and just assume that the clay underground will happen sometime later, or possibly not at all, but we can make those adjustments. And so what I will eventually have to come back to the board for approval for is the rate on that, the 144.98, and that might change a little, but I really don't expect much. So unless
Yes, I have a question. What was the rate and what was the process when we approved the lights for the bridge in Ingram?
it's the same, we're using the same formulas for the Ingram bridge lights. So we took the formulas that the consultant gave us for that and just applied them to different costs for this project.
But by my recollection, we, as a nonprofit, or not we, a nonprofit group in Ingram paid the city of Ingram money to be able to have those lights installed. There's nobody asking the city of Kerrville, or nobody giving the city of Kerrville any money to have those lights.
I had intended to go back and look at those details, and it slipped my mind. I thought that what we were doing was setting up that rate for the city of Ingram, a monthly rate, and that the money y'all provided was used to pay that monthly rate. But that plan might have changed with Tommy working on that. So I
think it might have.
Okay, so
Correct.
So if I'll go back and look at Ingram's deal, and if this is being done any different than the deal Ingram got, then I'll bring it back to y'all.
Yeah, what Mike said when he was talking about that was that they've already figured out the cost of the lights, correct? And then the cost of basically we're going to, how many years is it going to take to pay that back?
It's
to pay us back, in essence, for buying the lights and paying the labor to install them.
Yeah, I mean, you're recovering the cost of poles over 30 years and lights over 20 years. So, and those are.
I think we did it quicker out there.
No, they're the same. It's the same numbers, and it's the same spreadsheet and everything. And let me just say, I'm inclined to move forward, but I understand the concerns with Ingram, and I'll go back and make sure that every detail is the same, and I'll come back to the board and just update y'all on that. It's intended to be the same, and I intended to have gone back and looked at the details. And it just
busy last week.
Yeah.
Distracting.
So otherwise, would there be concerns with moving forward with that? Okay.
No. As long as we're consistent with it.
Yeah.
Any other things?
No, sir. I think we're done. Another record meeting.
Close.
Mike, you sent me an email. I actually emailed you back and told us to call the week before, not last week, but the week before that. You never responded to that email about going out and talking to the city of Ingram about projects.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We can put that on the back.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to forget about it. It's all, and that was
And basically, Ingram's had upheaval in there.
Yeah, a lot of turmoil there.
What they have. What went on in Ingram?
You don't know?
We do have that investment committee.
Every single
Who is
City
that?
councilman and the mayor, and everybody in the police force resigned.
How long are we gonna need on this?
I just feel crap on my work.
So
We still don't have internet, one store, run out of food.
Oh, Lord.
Everything's a disaster. My son went this morning to get his food through the day. And the guy coming to work. They're worse than us. And
they couldn't get food out first. We, one time, kind of some, I worked at Mystic, charged kitchen. Something with, something there.
Mike?
So there's 450 people, I gotta feed them.
I can't go somewhere else.
Hey, Mike.
I bought everything out in Kerrville, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah, I was an HB buying tortillas.
That's all they had.
Then I sent my wife and son to buy ground.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, I don't think so. I'm gonna
Yeah, we
look
can
it
post
up.
I've actually got a meeting in me.
Okay.
I've gotta go somewhere.
Yeah. Bill and
Bill
Larry
needs you,
are-
just need Bill.
All right, well, good.
I know.
Good news.
If they're red ones.
Say it 3 times, I'll finally get it.
But I'll look and see which one it is. And I'll show you what the new service application.
Okay.
Mike, at my house, my mom had power. She was up by Pittsburgh Village. But then she didn't have water. I was going back and forth.
Steve Robertson and I.
Oh, boy.
The water.
Calculator
Oh, yeah.
station.
Okay.
You should get, I sent you.
Still.
But that first time it came out, I only had that hat. We're missing that leg. So it gave in and the guys came back. And then
I'll send
Was that on
Okay.
our poll or was it on?
Okay.
it was on, I'll probably come back. It's a horrible, horrible place.
Yeah, I know where I know.